Okay, this is part two. Kitties were getting up to no good. I was like, we gotta deal with these cats. Anyways, they're separated now. Okay, so I was talking about expectations and the way that manifestations end up coming to fruition. So I'm an excellent manifester. It's getting better and better. I imagine that you are as well. If you're on my channel, you're watching my socials, you're probably interested in this because this is something that I talk about a fair bit. And what's interesting is that the manifestations don't always show up in the way that you expect. So I manifested this trip to London. I wanted it so for a long time, and I didn't push it because it was in my mind it was supposed to happen a year ago, and then something else happened and it ended up delaying it by a year. And it was so meant to be. Like, I'm so grateful that it got delayed. It was the right thing to happen. And now that I'm here, I was just talking about the other video about how I got sick and how incredibly jet lagged I was, but how I got sick. And then I actually have I have a disability, a couple of them, but one of them is a migraine issue. I ended up getting a migraine that lasted for 3 days. And I could take pain medication, but a migraine is not the same as a regular headache. It's debilitating. It's why I do entrepreneurship instead of a regular job, because it's random when it happens and it comes out of nowhere, and then you just have to deal with the fact that you can't function for 3 days. At least mine lasted a long time. I've had one that lasted for 3 weeks. It was bonkers. Anyway, so I had one of those and was like, well, you can't really push yourself to go around and do all the things that are on the list. It's such a big list of things, and now I've got 6 days left unless I move my flights, and I still want to go to Manchester as well. And it's oh my God. So probably not going to hit up all the stuff. I know that I need to get going because I got something to see right now today. But there is something about needing to let go of the specifics, because otherwise we will be miserable. I have caught myself, and I feel like I'm pretty good at not doing this most of the time, through mindset work, through really working on myself. And we all, actually, believe it or not, and don't listen to anyone who says that this is not true, humans have a negative bias, and the reason for it is it's a survival thing. We think we're so sophisticated in our society because we have technology. We're not. Our bodies and our brains actually haven't fully caught up, so we are ruled by our survival mechanisms most of the time. It's like your nervous system and your unconscious, right? They're just trying to keep you alive. So we have a negative bias. That means that we're going to make, whether it's conscious or unconscious, an assumption that something is a negative instead of positive first. Your unconscious is going to react through the power of your nervous system to a shoelace on the floor. Assume that it's a snake. You're going to jump away from it for a second, be like, whoa, and then recognize that it's just a shoelace on the floor, and then you laugh about it, right? It's because your survival mechanism is going to assume the worst, and then afterwards go, oh, haha, it wasn't what I thought it was. So, anyways, we have this with our experiences a lot of the time, where we will first feel negatively about something that's not going our way, and then you're like, you know what, I can use the power of my mindset, because the world is much of the time mental. It's through your mental lens. It's your responsibility to change your mindset, otherwise your experience isn't going to be very pleasant a lot of the time. So mindset is super important, and your thoughts do dictate your experience. Oftentimes it dictates your emotional experience of your reality too. So all that to say, your mindset's very important, because we have a negative bias. Even the most positive people in the world, technically, through their survival mechanism, which is out of their control, have a negative bias. So you just got to work on shortening the gap between your negative reaction and then your more positive response, right? Reaction is automatic, response is conscious. So this is about changing your experience through your interpretation. If you get entrenched in the perfectionism, and I'm super guilty of this, I have been, because I've been a perfectionist for a long time, of wanting things to go a certain way, and then they don't. You're going to experience more suffering if you refuse to pivot to the way that you think. And instead you're like, no, it has to be this way and only this way, otherwise it's not worth it. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's not a worthwhile experience if it's not the way that we had originally planned or intended or whatever the heck. I'm really trying to lean into it this time around, um, that it's truly meant to be the way that it's unfolding. So my flights got delayed. I talked about this in another video on YouTube, but that ended up leading to the person who I was staying with for the first week was very generous with me, and I'm super grateful. Um, they were able to actually pick me up from the airport instead of me having to navigate with my gigantic suitcase, uh, which actually isn't that gigantic, but I always have a camping backpack, so it's like it's weird to have a suitcase. It feels so bougie. I didn't have to navigate the tube system or the trains or whatever to get to this person's place. They picked me up. They had the day off of work. That was, first of all, very generous of them because it's a long way. The second of all, that wouldn't have happened if I came the day that I was actually scheduled to come. The delay is what resulted in me getting picked up. You know, this house sit, sorry, my tummy's growling. This house sit only happened because of the dates that I chose. Now I'm here and the dates are kind of like, where is everybody? And like, you know, obviously it's winter, so the city wasn't going to be green and gorgeous, but I kind of didn't think it through. I've lived in a big city before. I lived in Montreal. I've been to big cities before. And I don't know what I was expecting, but in the winter time, if it hasn't snowed, it's just windy, cold, and there's a bunch of, it's a city. There's garbage. Like, sorry, there's weirdly these flies. I think they're living in a plant that I have this camera like leaning up against. So if you see little fruit flies, it's because they live in this plant. Anyways, so you know, it's a city. It's a big city, and it's not gorgeous everywhere. Not everything looks like Notting Hill. I haven't even seen the movie, but you kind of get the gist of it. Like it's like the city that I live in, just much smaller. There's different neighborhoods. They all look different. This is to the nth degree. So it's not like out of a fairy tale. It's not like out of a movie. Not every neighborhood. No kidding. It's a big city. Like it's London. Yeah. There's gorgeous areas, and then there's places that have their own unique charm because they're different. They're rough around the edges. And I've traveled a lot. I've traveled since I was 15. I'm in my mid 30s now. Like I've been to many beautiful places, and I've been to some dangerous places as well. Like this world is wild and it's a full spectrum of experiences. Humanity is interesting like that, and I live my life with a lot of privilege. Um, you know, you don't have to stay in a 5-star hotel to exist in this world with a lot of privilege. I have privilege because of where I live. I have privilege because of my upbringing. I have privilege because of my skin color. I have a lot of privilege. So I want to name that. And the experience here is recognizing not everything is all sunshines and lollipops or Christmas lights and you know the gorgeousness, but again, it boils down to a choice of how you're going to perceive something. There's beauty in places that are not perfect. There's beauty in places that are rough around the edges. There's beauty in the humanity of it. And I think even though it's been unexpected, through shifting my mindset and like going back to backpacker mindset, I guess, like switching out of, oh, it's going to be like fancy, you're going to do it differently this time. It's through that mentality that I think that my original response was, oh, it's not going the way that I had wanted it to. And then perceiving things as not as beautiful as they actually are. And the funny thing is, I ended up meeting, so I usually do like couch surfing. There's a website called Couch Surfing. You pay to be a member, make a profile, and then you can be connected with people, like a network of people around the world. And you can request to stay with a host on their couch or spare room or whatever it is they have available in the city that you want to travel to. And you can also be a host. My couch won't even fit me on it, so it's hard for me to be a host, but I'm very grateful to have been a traveler and been hosted by several people. But there was a meetup, and I was like, I'm lonely. I want to meet people. It's so hard to meet people here, or it has been. I'm sure after a while it's not so hard, but this isn't the season for it either because everyone's with family. So I ended up meeting up with couch surfers, and it was just so funny to me because I was like, I'm not couch surfing this time. I'm going to do it differently. And then it's like, well, I have a beautiful place to stay, but I'm also staying alone with cats. So as much as I adore the cats and their company, I needed some human beings. It's just not as fun doing the touristy stuff alone. So, and this is coming from someone who really values their alone time. So yeah, it made me laugh, and so I kind of shifted back to this mindset of the beauty in the simplicity, the beauty in receiving the generosity of the universe in whatever form that came in, the support of people who, I wouldn't have met them in a hotel. I think that we can have this illusion that if we travel a certain way, that it's going to be a better experience. It can be very lonely. Sure, if you're sleeping in a hostel, for example, if you've ever traveled that way, you know that sleeping in a dorm with 11 other people can not feel very luxurious. That can be hard, especially if you're a light sleeper like me. And when people are snoring, oh my God. Oh. At the same time, you've got 11 new people that you're meeting. If you're traveling alone, that's actually pretty cool, because then maybe you don't get along with everybody, but you probably get along with some of those people, and then you plan a day trip together and you go and do a cool thing together. It's a lot more cool with other people. So this has been a real wake-up call to me, and it feels vulnerable to share it. Ooh, it's 11:11 on my timer. It feels vulnerable to share it because, it's funny, this is something I've spoken about in other videos. I don't know which one. You'll have to go and dig around in my channel. But speaking about the courage in manifestation, you have to be courageous, because if you decide, some people say don't speak your manifestations out loud, don't tell anyone what you're going to do until you've done it. I think that that's almost a little bit, and like, don't quote me on this because I might change my mind on my stance. You're allowed to do that, but I think that's a little bit cowardly, and I think that works against you. Like, yeah, maybe if you're working on a project and you don't want anybody to know about it yet, so they don't poke holes in your big lofty dreams, like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, speaking things into existence creates accountability, and that could be a really motivating thing. So I actually think speaking things out loud to at least some people can be very helpful and motivating. However, something I've spoken about is how manifesting, speaking things out loud, takes courage, because you need to be able to get into the space of, as closely as possible, unwavering faith in your manifestation and your ability to create it, to just to manifest it, right? Through your mindset, through the actions that you take, which are often different actions than you're used to taking. And it puts you at risk of shame and embarrassment if things don't go your way, if you don't get the manifestation, if you it doesn't work out, or if it doesn't go as planned. And so it's interesting because I'm fully aware of this phenomena, this thing that can happen, and yet it totally come up. And this is why I'm making the videos, because it's like, okay, I can sit here with this feeling of, oh no, it didn't go as planned, or I could go, oh, that's funny, interesting, look at what I'm learning. I'm going to share that with people because it's real, it's raw, it's not everything looks the way it looks on Instagram. You and I both know that. It's the highlight reel, right? It's edited, it's highlight reel. You have no idea what it took for that person to get to the Maldives or whatever tropical destination or fabulous London place that they're at, right? What kind of work it took to get there, or what's going on behind the scenes. Someone could be there with their partner, and when the camera's off, that relationship is miserable. You don't know. It could also be perfect. Or not perfect, but amazing. So we just don't know, right? We don't need to project on people, but you never know. So I wanted to speak to it because it's like, well, you can manifest what it is that you want, and it's not like it's wrong or bad or anything, but it's real. It's real. Not everything is a perfect holiday, especially when you're in a longer holiday too. It's like real life really starts to creep in because you're there long enough for it to do that. So that's been quite an interesting experience for me to recognize through publicly desiring something, really speaking it into existence, and then my excitement about booking it. Like, oh my God, it's happening. I'm going to this place that I've wanted to go for so long, and everybody knows it. Everybody. And then I get here and be like, oh, this is different. Wow. It looks different. It feels different. It sounds different. That being said, the musical experiences that I've had. Like I got to play on a radio station. That's wild. I hope it happens more often. But the funny thing is, I played on it once. It didn't get recorded. Thank goodness, because like I didn't train wreck, but the beginning got off to a rough start. I accidentally broke a rule of radio, and then I was like, oh no, and then I had to get put in this like awkward loop. And then I had to figure out how to like mix into that loop. I didn't set the loop. It was like emergency for like avoid whatever it was that I accidentally did. So off to a rough start, right? Happened a couple times because I just didn't like realize what I was doing wrong. And then, but that was still amazing. I still got to do the thing, right? People are like, wow, you're playing the radio. And then I do this video on my Instagram and like, check me out like this coming weekend because I was going to do another set. Again, any set at all is so generous. The fact that I got to do this, I'm like so grateful. I need to be clear about that. And the other set got canceled. Literally, the show got canceled. It wasn't me like not getting to do it for some reason or having done something wrong. I was invited back after the fact. But then that person decided to cancel their show because they're hanging out with family because it's the holidays. And that's fine. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So then I had been dreaming of going to this store in London. It's like a record shop, gift shop kind of place, but they have CDJs in the front window. And like some amazing artists have played there. The place is called Kindred. I really wanted to go. In fact, and you'll probably laugh at me, but I think this is actually kind of like good funny. I'm not a Photoshop girly. I use Canva and I don't know what I'm doing, but they always take a picture of the artists who have played with this really overexposed lens or whatever, leaning against this dark green wall that is actually right across. I thought it was behind the building, but again, I had never been there before. It's right across the street. And on my vision board or manifestation board for the last year, I have had a picture of me that I didn't Photoshop, but pretty much the same thing through Canva. I Canva'd myself onto this wall and adjusted the colors and made it look overexposed and figured out how to fit myself according to the size of whoever like Canva'd myself over. I don't even know. So I was like, sometimes you got to do that. You really have to normalize what it is that you want in your own psyche and in your own nervous system. So creating an image like that, it sounds really weird, but it's actually very helpful because then every time I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen for me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to perform in that place, or I'm going to get to play Kindred is what it's called. I can't remember if I said that or not. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do that thing. So I go yesterday and I looked at the website too. Even though it's the holidays, it said that it was open. It was open for another 2 hours. So I bus all the way across the city to go to this place and I get lost and I finally find it. And I'm just standing outside. Number one, the building's under construction, so it doesn't look the way that it usually looks. It's got all this scaffolding on it. It's covered by all these like yellow things. Anyway, so I'm standing outside. I'm like, alrighty. It's dark. The curtains are down. I ring the doorbell because I find it. I'm going to stand out there for longer than I probably should have. It's like, okay, well, take a picture of the window, take a picture of the sign. And then there's the green wall behind me. I'm like, oh, there's the wall. Cool. I'm not going to take a picture of the wall. I'm just kind of standing around in this dark street because, of course, the sun sets at like 4 o'clock and I'm there at 4:30 or 5 or something. I'm like, well, I'm here by myself having this little chuckle, but I also don't have someone who can take a picture of me. So I literally like flag down this random delivery guy who's just trying to drop off a package at some apartment building nearby, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, can you take my picture? And he's like, what? So I explain this to him because I'm a friendly gal and I wanted to explain, like, I manifested this. It's not as I expected, but here I am. So he takes my picture and he actually like takes different angles and he's patient with me when I'm like, oh, actually it's supposed to be like right head on, and can you come a little closer? And eventually I'm like, it's okay, I'm gonna edit it, it's fine. So I have a picture of me against this green wall that all these other artists have stood in front of, and I'm like, I manifested this. I didn't manifest myself playing Kindred. And I'm not saying that you have to like Photoshop yourself into every single image, like in Kindred. Like that would be so impossible. They do have like video cameras that film it, but like I don't have the patience for that. That's not how manifestation works. It's fun though if you want to do it. But I had to laugh. It was so funny because I did manifest a photo of myself against this wall, just like on my vision board or my manifestation board. I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. But I had to have a sense of humor about it, because if I didn't, I would have been so disappointed. And like, yeah, I do want to play it someday. That's great. It's just a sign that it's not the time. It was not the day. Fine. Fair enough. That's okay. But I had to laugh about it. Then I took a bus to like Soho area, which I had been marching around with some couch surfing people the night before, which was very cool because I was able to pound out like a bunch of sightseeing stuff in one walk, because I was with a local or several locals who knew where they were going, instead of me going in circles by myself. So I'd been to Soho, I had been sort of into this historical district as well. But it's later in the day. The stores are actually closing. I didn't manage to see some of the things that I wanted to see, but I want to go to the astrology shop, and I'm not criticizing the astrology shop, but I had built it up in my mind. I thought from the pictures on the internet that it was way bigger. There was going to be like this emporium of astrology and tarot, and I was like, I had my heart set on, because I'm a professional tarot and oracle reader. I've got like 75 decks or something close to that at home. Okay, I'm gonna go get myself a new deck so that I can make content on this trip and channel and read messages. And it's 21:21 on my timer. This is so funny. This is a long video. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. But it was funny because I got there and it's packed. It's so crowded. It's smaller than the size of half of this kitchen that I'm in right now. It's tiny. And I looked at the prices of the Oracle and Tarot decks, and in Canadian dollars, some of the ones that I could probably get for $30 online, maybe 40 was the maximum that I'd be willing to pay. In Canadian dollars, some of these were 80. One of them was even up to 90 when I did the conversion. I was like, yeah. Then there was a big rock. There was a big amethyst that I wanted. All the other ones were like $100. There was one huge one for $12. And the reason I learned this when I was on a family trip somewhere else, that when the crystals that are formed are like super duper tiny, it's not considered valuable. And then the bigger the individual crystals are, the more valuable this rock is. So there's all these other ones that are quite big in totality, but they have these bigger columns or individual crystals. And then there's one like huge honking rock, and I'm like, wow, why is that 12 pounds? Like British pounds. It's because all the little crystals were teeny tiny, but I like that because it makes it super sparkly. It would have tipped my suitcase way over the weight limit, so I did not buy the pretty rock. But anyways, it was an interesting experience because I'm crammed in the store that I had been looking at on my Pinterest board, being like, well, I'm so excited to go, and I'm going to get a new deck, and I'm going to make content, this whole trip I've been like, I'm going to make content, tarot content. Now it's more vlogging style of me being like, let me tell you how this trip is actually going. It was so funny. Anyways, so then I talked to the woman at the cash, and I do buy a stone, and she's like, I was looking at this one. It's like little itty bitty. I think it's called carnelian, something like that. And she's like, I've been looking at that one. Look at the gradient. And I was like, yeah, look at the pattern in it. I'll show you my shiny rock at some point. It's really gorgeous. It just jumped out at me right away. I was like, I have to have that rock. So it's totally worth it. And it only cost £2, which is great because right now we're balling on a budget, right? Still balling, but on a budget. So I asked her, are there any other metaphysical shops around? She's like, yeah, it's these ones. They actually have them printed on a card, which is nice because they're like technically in competition with these stores. They're like, yeah, go for it. Check them out. I went to all 3 of them in the neighborhood. All closed. I think they closed early because it was only like 5:30. Oh, yeah. So what did I do from there? Oh, then I was like, okay, well, it's after sunset. It's after 4 o'clock. The sun goes down at 4 here. So I was like, okay, I'm going back to Oxford Street. I'm going to go look at the Christmas lights again. Going to give it another go. So I get on a bus. Like at this point, the amount of time that I spent on the bus, I think the tube is faster, but I've gotten the resistance to the tube and the overground only because almost every time that I've taken it, there has been some sort of delay or cancellation and having to reroute massively in the city. I think at one point, yeah, I'm not even gonna get it. I feel like there was an incident at one point. I could be wrong, but it shut down the metro system on the line that I needed for a really long time. And so be it. Yeah, there's a tough situation there. So, not for me, but for what was happening. So, anyways, I've been taking buses. And I like the bus because I can see more things. I'm looking at the city, I'm passing by. Maybe that's how I'm getting to see the neighborhoods, right? I'm bussing through them. So, it's a blessing in disguise. But the buses take longer most of the time. So, I'm going down, I think I'm on Oxford Street. And I'm looking at the people. There's so many people. And I'm loving the Christmas lights. Again, that's kind of why I came. One of the reasons why I came. I'm just like, man, I can't be in that crowd. I can't do it. So after all that, I had gotten off the bus, looked around. It's the day after Boxing Day. Everyone's out there shopping. It's madness. And I don't want to shop. If anything, back home, I'm downsizing and I'm getting rid of stuff. And it makes me feel like I have more spaciousness in my life for things energetically by getting rid of stuff. So I'm not shopping other than my little rock. I went thrifting at one point and got like a jazzy top and a fun skirt. That's it. And I ended up getting on a different bus and I went back to my cat sit. And that feels okay because I need to feed the cats. Like I do need to come home. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Brixton. I'm going to go explore. I'm going to hit the town because it's Saturday night. And like, I was so tired. I realized that I am so dehydrated. I hadn't had water for most of the day. I just keep forgetting to because I'm like, I'm on a schedule. I got to see. I'm off schedule. Got stuff I got to see. I come back. I chug a bunch of water. I eat some food. And then I hit a wall. I was like, no. I think the grandest adventure was I went to the corner store and I got myself some chocolate, which obviously I've eaten for breakfast. I need to eat some other like real food. I was like, yeah. So I didn't hit the town. Now, here's the thing. New Year's Eve is coming up, and I'm actually probably not going out on New Year's Eve. I might do something low key, and then everyone keeps being like, you gotta go to Fabric. It's famous. I'm like, okay, I'll go to Fabric. And so I have a ticket. It's so funny. I bought a ticket to the day after New Year's Eve. So January 1st, there's a party at nighttime at Fabric. And I bought a ticket. And it wasn't tremendously expensive, but like it's double in a bit in Canadian dollars. So I bought a ticket. It was fairly pricey to see a couple of artists that I'm so excited about. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I got told the day after by a local that I met. He's like, oh, did you know that Fabric does community tickets? So there's 100 tickets to every Sunday show, I think it is. But this one's a special one for free. I was like, bet they do. So I'm going to try and sell the other one. Hopefully I can sell it. But it was so funny. So it was a blessing for sure. I was like, oh, man. So I go to that show and I'm excited about it. And I will still go to Brixton. And I am running late, so I'm going to eat something and then get dressed and get out of here because I snoozed for 2 hours. I got up at 9 instead of 7 because I'm tired. Like, I think the expectation of getting everything done was not realistic. And I don't know if I'm going to extend my trip. Maybe it makes sense to just not do that this time and come back in a season where the trees have some leaves. It's a different vibe. It is warmer. Maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I really do want to go to Manchester, so I'm going to do that as well. Visit some friends. But anyways, I do have something I'm going to do, so I'm going to go do that because it is on the vision board. And I think it will be as cool as on the vision/manifestation board. It really looks neat on the website, not just on, the Instagrammers who are posting to Pinterest. So I'm going to do that. And then I think finally a couple of friends that I wanted to meet up with who have ended up working for the first 2 weeks, and fair enough, that's totally fine. But had been hoping to spend more time with. We're finally getting to see each other, so that's exciting as well. But lots of learnings, lots of lessons on this trip. So we're almost at 30 minutes, but I just want to put this out there. Be realistic. Talk about how manifestations, like you can absolutely manifest. You've got that power. And at the same time, when you speak publicly about it, just knowing that you might, first of all, supercharge your manifestations because you've got accountability, but simultaneously you do risk, I suppose, shame or disappointment or embarrassment if you allow yourself to feel those things, which is human and normal and natural. When it doesn't go the way that you intended, it goes a little sideways. I think it'll be kind of funny when I go back to Canada, and most people in my life will be like, how was it? Because I've been dying to go for so long. I'm like, are you moving to London? You're like, I don't know. Because I've barely seen it. I just think that's the funniest thing. So, yeah. But that's a mindset shift too, because I was feeling fairly down about it. Just like, this is like, it is what it is. This is what's happened. So, being grateful for the house sit, it's incredible. Being grateful for being picked up from the airport, being grateful for the opportunity at all, being grateful for the free, like every single show that I'm going to, as long as I sell that other ticket. YUQT, Conducta, Sammy Virgie, Skepta, Bush Baby, Veritas, and whoever else is going to be at that post New Year's party. All of these tickets were free or gifted. Like, that's a blessing too. Oh man. So yeah, just, oh, and I met the friendliest other DJ yesterday. Here's the thing. Okay, being brave is the last thing I'm gonna say. So I hadn't met a lot of people, but I was going to go do a meetup with couch surfing people, and we were going to do a walking tour of Brick Lane, which I ended up like taking at a run because I wanted to get to Kindred in time before it closed, and then it ended up not being open anyways. It was so funny. But I'm waiting in this restaurant for the other couch surfing people, and I see that, it would be funny if she sees this video, maybe she will. But there's this woman sitting at a table, and it's early in the day, but she's doing mimosas, and I think that's great. And she's got earbuds in, and she's just like rocking out. And I'm like, what is that woman listening to? And I come around very carefully. I don't want to startle her, but I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna say hello. And I come around sort of her shoulder. She's got good bass face. She's got an excellent bass face, like really, And I come around, I was like, excuse me, miss, I have to ask you, what are you listening to? And she's like, oh, it's so good. And she like tries to jam the earbud in my ear. And unfortunately it falls into my scarf, and we're both kind of like fiddling with my scarf because you can hear it in my scarf. And I'm like, oh no. It's just like, oh no, I always lose my earbuds. I'm like, don't worry, I'll give it back when I find it. So funny. Anyways, finally find it. And of course the song's over when I finally jam it in my head. But she turns it on again. It's drum and bass. I'm not a huge drum and bass person. I'm more of a jungle kind of gal, but she turned it on. It was a banging track. And she's like, no, come sit. So, like, I don't really drink or anything like that. I just don't really like alcohol. But she's like, mimosa. I'm like, okay, so teeniest, tiniest mimosa. And we got to talking. She's a DJ. She's super nice. Had a really lovely chat, and the couch surfing people did show up, and they sat at another table and they ate, so they weren't waiting around for me or anything. But I had a long chat with this woman. She's a DJ, just absolutely lovely. So you gotta approach people. You make friends if you approach people. Now, not everyone will respond well to that. Some people just don't want to talk to you, and that's fine. It's trickier in the big city, I find. But you gotta be brave. If you want to meet people, if you want to have unique experiences, same goes for traveling. If you want unique experiences, I do encourage you to leave your hometown. I encourage you to travel, even if it's not super duper far from where you're from. But being brave and being willing to go on trips that don't necessarily look the way that you expected, and go to places that do not look like Instagram or whatever the heck it is. Like, go and have a real experience. Try new things. Do stuff on your own. Be brave. You may meet actually more people by doing a solo trip. I do encourage it, because then you don't have to wait around for other people and argue about where you want to go or things like that. But yeah, try new things, go new places, meet new people, do your best, let go of the specifics and the expectations, and just roll with it. This is very much a current, real-time lived experience that I'm going through. Oh my gosh, it's almost 35 minutes. Anyways, I hope this was a fun story. I hope it was helpful. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.